And we are live, it looks like. Hello, everybody. Hello, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us today. Christina Ervin here, and I am actually here with my guest today, Dr. Bob Clarke. And just really excited to have you on today, Dr. Bob Clarke. And I'm just going to call you Bob from now on, okay, going forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks, Christina. It's great to be here with you. Thanks a lot.
So really wanted to get together with you today and just have a few minutes to chat with you because both of us share the experience of being basically part-time marketers. We both work full-time, and I know that you have a lot of experience of being a successful part-time marketer. Before we get into any questions, though, you want to take a few moments to introduce yourself and let everybody know what you do in your profession?
Sure, sure. I am a 56-year-old New Jerseyite. Live here with my wife, Rosemary, and our four kids who are grown enough to be out of the house and into college. So we're empty nesters a little bit, although we're still paying for college, but that's always fun. Yeah, I've been working as a reproductive physiologist for about 30 years, 32 years now. And basically I supervise an infertility clinic here in New York, so we help couples who are having trouble having babies. We help them to achieve their dreams. So it's a really, how do I say it? It's a great job. It's very rewarding in its own way, but it's also very stressful. So I'm 56, so about 4 years ago, I started thinking about retirement and, how I wanted to be able to just do it on my own terms.
Right.
And not have somebody tell me I had to retire or not have to work too long and not be able to enjoy my life. My mom worked for 35, 40 years in the school system. By the time she retired, she was too sick to enjoy it. So I didn't want that to happen to me either. So I wanted to have a way, kind of an exit strategy, to get seamlessly from the job into something, then replace my income so I can travel, do what I want, and the online business model fit that perfectly for me. And I know, for people who work like us, it's the perfect model because it allows you to do everything on your own time. So that's how I got into it. I've been doing it for about 4 years.
4 years.
And I made my share of mistakes. I found out what works, what doesn't work. I've been able to figure out a few things, and now I really help mostly part-timers who are struggling to kind of figure it out and get on the right path. So that's what I'm doing right now online.
Well, and that kind of brings me to really my first question, because I remember we were on the Ultimate Freedom webinar that My Lead System Pro has every Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock p.m. And for those of you who are not familiar with My Lead System Pro, it's a platform, a marketing training platform that both Bob and I are members of to help us basically grow our business and basically show you ways to help grow your business online. So we were on a free webinar Tuesday. You discussed your growth process as it relates to posture. And you said something that really resonated with me, which was that you had a question mark all over your face about basically, was this the right product? Was it the right system? Was it the right company? And daily, I meet people who seem to be forcing it with their company. It's like you can tell that they're totally second-guessing everything. So can you just take a few moments and speak to your process of and some key things that you think are important to consider when trying to find those right places and pieces for what's going to work for them?
Sure, absolutely. I started out like probably most everybody else. I started out with an MLM, a health and wellness MLM, and while I like the products and still use the products, after a while it didn't seem like it was a fit for me, and for whatever reason. And it's nothing to do with the company. It's just me and my likes and my dislikes and how I wanted to do this thing. We talked about the 4 levels of belief in that webinar, Christina, right? Mm-hmm. Believing in your product, believing in your company, believing in your industry, and believing in yourself. Those 4 things. And if you don't have all those in line, you're going to feel a disconnect. Something's not going to work. Something's not going to feel right in your business. I know you probably experienced it too. Yeah. And that's what I was feeling. I was feeling, I'm not in the right place. I'm not where I need to be. I haven't. And sometimes it takes some trial and error to figure it all out. ultimately I kind of figured it out for myself. But too many times I think people think that because they're in one thing, well, it's two extremes, right? There are people who think, okay, well, I joined here, so I need to stay here and make this work. Even if I kind of don't like the products anymore or whatever, I'm still going to make this work. So they get stuck in one camp. And you have the other camp who try it for a month or two and say, oh, this isn't the one. They keep going, and they keep going on and on and on, thinking it's the company or the products or whatever else, and it's not. So it's a little bit of a balance between the two, and I think you just have to, for me, I just went with my gut. I knew this would take work. I knew it wasn't fast money. I knew it was, because I know that anything worthwhile takes time. So I wasn't in that camp, but I was kind of in the camp where, well, I started with this company and I don't want to give up on it, and I stayed too long, and it cost me quite a bit of time. So, yeah, I think you just have to go with your gut, and if something doesn't feel right, look around. Look and see what might feel right for you.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that I often think about, and have actually, maybe, suggested to people, is that you can absolutely love the products. You can even absolutely love the company itself, but it not totally be a right fit for you too. So there's nothing wrong with using the products, and even maybe if there's the option of being an affiliate of or a distributor of it, and someone happens to come along and it fits, fine. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it resonates with you as something that should be your primary business opportunity.
Right, and too, like, if you're going to stand out in that industry, in that company, you need to be head over heels in love with that company, and you need to just be a walking advertisement for, you're so happy and you're so incredibly proud to be there, and it's so amazing. And if you don't have that energy, if you don't feel it in your heart, it's going to come across to your prospects, and you're not going to do very well.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I've noticed about you from like day one, Bob, is that you are so consistently you. And I can't think of another way of saying it other than you are so consistently you. And one thing that I think could help marketers today, whether they be part-time or full-time, whether they be new or experienced, is how to understand who you are, be comfortable with who you are as a marketer, and don't try to, chase after all the little shiny objects, but be you. Can you tell us how you found your voice and what helped you find your voice with marketing?
Yeah, here's the biggest thing about that. I had coaches helping me with that, trying to find my voice. And I really struggled with it. Because, like, who am I? I know who I am as a scientist, but who am I as a marketer? But it really comes down to who are you as a person. And my biggest tip I can give to you and to other people is you might want to think about who you don't want to become, who you don't want to look like, who you don't want to be. I saw plenty of examples online of people I didn't want to be like. The spammy spamsters, the one who throw in their links all over, the people who are throwing around the hypey promises or the income claims. I didn't want to be that person. I knew that. So that kind of at least helped me get set in the right direction. I knew who I didn't want to be. And once you know that, then it becomes really a matter of who are you? What do you stand for? What do you want to be known as? What do you want people to think about when they think of you? And for me, I want people to think that I'll tell them the truth. I want people to think that I'm a person of integrity, and I want a person to think that I'm not going to be the spammy hyping guy that's out there. I have their best interest at heart. That's who I want to be. That's my voice, and it's worked for me because I've had people come across and say, I resonated with you because you seem like you're not hypey and you're just kind of telling it like it is. I know it's not always the best thing to say, because I'm sure it's cost me sales. I don't sugarcoat stuff, and but that's the thing. Who don't you want to be? Think about that first.
Yeah, then it's kind of interesting that you say that, because I knew immediately who I didn't want to be. And it took me a little bit of time to kind of find my voice and figure out how to be who I am, because I was so paralyzed in not wanting to appear to be the spammy, throw my links all over the place. We're having a talk about what we did last night for dinner, and you're trying to pitch me kind of person. So that you make a good point to really kind of go with what you don't want to be, and it'll come from there.
It's an easier place to start. Most people know who they don't want to be.
Yeah.
The harder question is, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be like? Who do you want to be seen as? That's a little bit harder. But you can start ruling out all the other stuff at least when you start thinking about who you don't want to be like.
So another thing that kind of caught my attention. A few minutes ago you were talking about I knew who I was as a scientist in that world,
Mm-hmm.
and but I really wasn't sure about a marketer. So that kind of speaks to confidence in general, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you first came online and started being a marketer, and how long did it take you to start getting your confidence? And what was that moment where it clicked in your head? Oh,
I'm sorry, you cut out the last minute.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
That
so
moment where it clicked in my head and said, what?
that I can do this and I belong here as a marketer.
That's a great question. Yeah, whatever you do in your traditional job, whatever your career is, whatever how much success you've had in other areas of your life, it doesn't necessarily transition. And I didn't think about that. I knew I was pretty successful in my science career, and I had a certain level of prestige. I was looked up to it a certain way. So when I came into marketing, it was kind of a blow to me that I'm starting from scratch. I don't know anything here. And in the same way, it was kind of exhilarating because I could start again and I could build it again, and that was kind of fun too to do that. It took me a long time to get that confidence to think that I could help somebody. That was the big thing for me. I wanted to help somebody, and for a long time I suffered from this thing where I don't know enough to help anybody yet. And you and I know that's so far from the truth, because always you're one step ahead of somebody else.
Yes.
And if you can find that person, if that person can find you, you can help them. So for me, the turning point probably was that day. It was a couple of years ago, I guess, where someone actually just said, you've really helped me with that, and you really made a difference today in my business.
Right.
And I was like, yes, I can do this. And it just starts to grow after that. And then that's the thing, you just have to keep going on it, because I think a lot of people a year or two in would have quit and said, this isn't working, and this industry doesn't work, and I'm out of here. I'm going to try something else. Everything works, right? I mean, it's pretty much everything in this thing works if you work at it. It's a matter of sticking to it, right?
And then your mindset. I know for me personally, it's been one of the, I truly have thought very little about monetary gains and the money, and it has been so exhilarating and so exciting to have people reach out to me and say you've helped me, or I appreciate it, or you're amazing, or something like that. That something where you've helped me over this hump, that has been so much gratification for me that a lot of times I even forget. I'm like, whoa, Christina, you're in this for profit too. You got to keep that in mind too.
But what you say is a great point, Christina. It's counterintuitive, really. But the less you think of the money, the more it's going to come to you, in my experience.
Exactly.
The less I think about, gee, am I going to give this person 15 minutes of my time if they don't pay me? Or am I going to give this person 15 minutes of my time so I help them? And somewhere down the road, that will come back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a switch that I think is important to make, because you have to come from a place of really trying to help people. And that feeling inside you of not really, yes, you have to make a profit. Of course you do. But you have to believe that if I give my 15 minutes to Christina today, that somewhere down the road, if I help her out, somewhere down the road, something's going to come to me good too.
Exactly. Which kind of brings me to, all these questions are coming up that I hadn't originally thought I was going to ask you, but it's working for me. So, something that I run into every day, I meet someone who is marketing a product, most likely, or a service, and I say a little nugget to get them to thinking, but so often, especially people who are new to online, they come online and they're trying to figure out what to do, how to sell their product. And they don't even understand the concept of you have to provide value into the market, right? And I know that was one of those things when I first came online. I was like, what do you mean value? What does that mean? What does that got to do? What does that have to do with my product? So can you talk really quickly, just a couple minutes here, about how a person can identify, say they're in health and wellness, how can they provide value to the market that will attract people and still be basically marketing their business, their product?
Okay. Well, it depends on who they want to help. If someone's in health and wellness, let's say they're in weight loss, and they want to provide value to that group of people who are looking at weight loss. Um, to me, providing value is not going to be hawking your product all the time, saying this is going to help you, this is going to help you, this is going to help you. Yeah, you can do some of that, and you can tell some stories around your product. That's part of it. But what about talking about proper nutrition and educating people that way, or talking about the role of exercise and what's low impact, what's high impact, and if you educate yourself in that area, which you probably need to anyway, and you provide value in that way, and you back end into your product because people start to trust you, that's to me what providing value is. It's not buy my stuff. It's hey, you have a problem. This is some information about it, and if you want to know about what I got, I can show you that too.
Right. So the key here, I just want to drive this home, is what you're saying, Bob, is have a passion for your product.
Yeah.
Know your product thoroughly, and there might be a particular only one or two products that you really, really know well, that you have personal experience with.
Mm-hmm.
But then take that personal experience and provide some ideas of how it's helped you, how it could help someone else. That's providing value. Exactly. In that process, that person gets to know, like, and trust you, which makes it easier for you to say, and by the way, I have some of this if you want to try it, right?
Exactly. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. This information is readily available for anybody to have, but you're going to be the one bringing it to them.
Right.
And that's value. That's value.
Good stuff. Now, another thing as a new marketer that was a little bit of an adjustment for me was email marketing. Mm-hmm. That's part of your marketing strategy that you should include, right?
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of your voice, I find that, because I'm on your personal email list, I find that your emails to be very engaging, but more importantly, they're not too long, unlike some marketers that go on and on and on. So can you speak to the importance of the email part of your marketing strategy, and what's your personal approach to emails?
Okay. All the stuff that's been happening with YouTube and stuff lately, with all the problems with that, and I saw it back in 2008. It happened with the Google slap, where everybody in the home business industry got taken off of Google AdWords as an option for doing their business. It was these things kind of happen now and again. I've been taught very early on by the people who I've studied with that building a list is the only true asset you have. That's yours. I'll also add maybe it's your blog if it's self-hosted, but an email list to me is one of your most invaluable things, because if Facebook disqualifies you, takes you out of the game, if YouTube cancels your account, if whatever marketing strategy gets shut down for you, you have your list. If your MLM company boots you for some reason, you have your list of people who you can go back to and start building the process again, these people who believe in you. So I'm a strong believer in list building, which makes email marketing really important, because you have to have a way to talk to these people and give them something of value for giving their information to you, for trusting you. So my whole philosophy on this is, first of all, be yourself, because that's the whole idea of it. You want people who are attracted to you and your style. I get a lot of people on my list every day. I get people unsubscribed from my list every day too, because there are some people who get me and some people who don't. Some people who like the long emails and some people who like the short emails. It's style, it's personality, whatever. People just get overwhelmed with stuff and they start unsubscribing. I think it's a matter of just being yourself, having something to say. Don't waste people's time. I'd rather skip a day. I like to email 5 days a week, but if I really don't have something that's going to help people, I won't email, because it's just not. Why waste their time? And they're going to get angry, and nothing's going to happen right anyway. So,
yeah.
And then make it as easy for them as possible. Make it easy on the eyes. I was taught this by Diane. People scroll downwards, so make it half a page. Break up your paragraphs. Just make it as easy for them as possible to get their information and get out.
Right. So that's good stuff right there. That was some good tips. A couple of tips that I'm noting myself.
Yeah, good.
So another area that I find that you're extremely consistent in and would say was one of the keys to your success and your business growth is your unyielding focus on zero level marketing. So can you explain to us what is uh, zero level marketing and how you incorporate that in your daily method of operation?
Christine, did you ever have it happen to you? Like you're really busy, right? And you have your job and you have your family and you're super busy and you finally get some time to sit at your computer and you're like, what should I do?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what to do first. And that happened to me so many times, and it's frustrating, right? Because you finally have this block of time, or however much time you have, and you're just like deer to headlights. You know, you're like, oh my god. So I learned this from my mentor also is what are the core things that you really need to do every day to build your business? Well, and we call it zero level marketing. I don't know who coined that phrase. It wasn't me. It was somebody else. Maybe it was Diane. I'm not sure. But it's four things, and I've kind of adapted it for myself from what I learned. But for me, the four things are, adding people to your world, finding people to meet, just to say hi to, just adding people into your online world. You can do it offline too if you want. For us, it's probably easier online. Just going out on Google or going out on Google Plus or going out on Facebook or YouTube, and just finding people. And I go a lot into this in some other trainings, but go into groups, meet some people in groups that you like, go to people's pages who you like and see who's commenting, and see if their comments kind of resonate with you. And say hi to them. And don't pitch your links. Don't try to sell them anything. Just start the relationship. And every day, look at your news feed and see their stuff and maybe add some more to the conversation. And so one day you take it to a private conversation. You see what each other's about. So that's number one. You kind of expand your audience or your world, if you will. Number two is build your list every day. So of those people you're talking to, when it comes time to a little private conversation, I always say to people, hey, you build your business part-time. If they say yes, which many of them are, all I'll say is, hey, I put out a newsletter, free newsletter for part-time people. If you want it, I'll send it to you. And 99% of the time, people say yes, because who doesn't want something free that might help them? So I'm always building that list. The third thing I do, and I don't do it as religiously as I should, and I try to, is create some piece of content 5 days a week. I like to take a couple days off, but so I'm talking about a short video or a long video, a training of stuff you learned. Maybe a blog post, maybe even a Facebook update, if it's good enough, could be a piece of content. And that's the third thing I do. And then the fourth thing I do is I email my list 5 days a week. So it's those four things basically. That's zero level marketing. So if I get to a computer and I sit down and I'm like, what should I do today? I got it. I know exactly the steps I got to be taking to do it. Now there's other stuff too. I mean, sometimes there's webinars. Sometimes you want to send people to presentations. Sometimes you're on the phone with people. That's other stuff. I'm just talking about when you're there and you know what you want to get done every day. It's there for you.
That's good stuff. I noticed that you're focusing a lot on, 5 days a week for you, and I even noticed one of your recent emails you were talking about, taking some time out for yourself and just being the bad Bob or the crazy, wild and crazy Bob, right?
Yeah.
That's important, really, as a part-time marketer. I know for myself, I tend to feel like, I'm working all day in corporate America, then I come home all night and I'm working my business.
Mm-hmm.
And I need some time. So I think that it's very good that you build that in, and I wanted to kind of bring that up too.
Yeah, well, here's the difference for me. When I work my shifts at the hospital, I'm done. I don't usually have to bring my work home with me, sometimes, but not usually. When you're doing your business, you're never done. There's always more you could be doing. You could be up at midnight and think, oh, one more thing, And so you have to be very focused on that. You have to set your limits, and you have to get your sleep. And I'll tell you a funny story. It wasn't funny at the time, but we kind of laugh about it now. Is about a year ago or so, I was really blocked. I just couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't get my stuff done. Even my zero level marketing, I couldn't really do it. I was just having a lot of trouble. And I was talking to my mentor about it, and she's like, you should talk to my husband. He's a counselor, and he's also an online marketer, and he's very good at this kind of stuff. So within 2 minutes or 3 minutes of talking to Larry, he says to me, "Dude, you're not blocked. You're sleep deprived." And I'm sure you can relate to that, right?
Yeah.
And sure enough, I said, "Okay, let me get a week of 8 hours sleep at night, and let's see what happens." And bam, it was unstuck. So put the focus on, but put the limits on too, and get your sleep and get your exercise, and because people, when you sit at the computer a lot, you don't get your exercise. It's tough. It's really tough. So it's just another thing to add into your day, right? You got to take care of yourself.
Well, now I know that people can reach out to you and get in contact with you on your website at it's bobandrosemary.com, right?
That's right. That's right.
Right.
That's the
And
best
you
way.
have a lot of great information and great training, and you got some good free stuff on there too that they can plug into. I mean, your website is very full of great information. Now, I know
Thanks.
you are into some really good stuff right now. You got a little something going on. You want to take a few minutes and tell everybody about it?
Yeah. I'm really excited about this. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, but basically, it's a total brain dump of what I know about part-time marketing, what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me, all the stuff that I do. Expanded a lot of the stuff that we talked about tonight, and I put it in my first product. It's going to launch probably in 2 or 3 weeks, I'm guessing. And it's really exciting because it's kind of my next forward progression, my next step. And I've had a lot of support, a lot of help with it, and it's just exciting. It's really exciting.
That's awesome. I'm excited for you actually. I'm excited to see what all you've got in this product because I know that it's been a big part of your success. And what I know for new marketers or marketers that may be experiencing and have kind of fallen off a little bit and want to get back on track is the best way to do it is to plug into some training that is very targeted that'll cut their learning curve. So I'm
Hmm.
excited for everybody to be hearing about the fact that you got something
Yeah.
coming, and want everybody to stay plugged in to get some announcements on how they can get it.
Yeah, definitely. It's coming up. And, a big part of that, too, and Christina, it's mental, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I have a huge part of it, about that in the product because to me, the biggest jump is the mental aspect of it. I always say, a monkey can generate a lead, but the mindset is what holds you back in doing it. So I put a whole lot of stuff in there about mindset, things that help me along the way.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, I told you that I wasn't going to take up too much of your time tonight, and I
Oh,
know
it's
that
my pleasure.
both of us are going to be looking forward to tonight's industry-wide webinar. It's going to be hosted by Mark Harbert for
Hmm.
MLSP, My Lead System Pro. And for those of you who don't know who Mark Harbert is, he's one of the top video marketers in the online marketing space today. Um, and if you're wondering what's going on with YouTube, if you want to improve your video marketing, or if you're curious about what it is, whatever, let me tell you, you want to go on and hop on that webinar tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. What I'll go ahead and do is, Bob, what I did a second ago is flash your website for everybody.
That's great.
And
Fantastic.
right now, I'll
Yeah.
go ahead and put up that little link so that you can get registered for the webinar if you want to make it to the webinar.
Mark is one of the guys who does it right. Mark
Yeah.
is a professional. I really respect Mark quite a bit, so I'm certainly going to tune in to hear what's happening with YouTube, and I also understand he's going to be telling us a whole lot about his new lead strategies, so
I
I'm
mean,
looking
he's
forward to that
killing
too.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, he's killing
43 plus leads a day, right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He always over delivers on his webinars too.
he does. So if you're around at 9 o'clock, make sure you grab it.
Awesome. Well, Bob, again, I really appreciate you taking some time out and talk to me tonight. This was fun. We'll have to do it again.
I loved it. It's great to get to know you a little bit, and us part-time marketers, we have to reunite, right? We have to stay
Rock it.
together.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll talk to you later. We'll see you on the webinar in a little bit, okay?
Okay, Christine, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.